Hey guys, welcome back to Build and Babble. This week I'm renovating RockRidge Springs. I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. I'm just going by memory. And I'm going to make it into like a sort of British post-industrial house, the kind of shitty house that you might find in one of the poorer districts of one of our cities, like maybe the outskirts of Leeds, where the council haven't taken the bins out for a while. It's all a bit sort of run down. Because honestly, even the bad parts of Evergreen Harbour are honestly super bougie. So this is kind of my estimation of a very 70s inspired sort of post-industrial house. Like inside it's very sort of 70s, and it's got loads of hideous wallpaper, and the kitchen's really hideous. It's got loads of horrible tiles and stuff. So I really enjoyed doing it. It was really different because usually I try and go for like really gorgeous houses for these renovations, but I went for something a little bit more realistic this time. And the topic that I'm going to be talking about is my cat. So hear me out if before you just click away going, no one wants to hear talk about a cat for 10 minutes. This is a really good story, I swear. So I got my cat Hugo in September the 12th, 2017. This was after one of the worst things that has ever happened to me happened, and I really needed some love. So my mum, knowing that I'm genuinely a crazy cat person, saw that there were some kittens sort of up for adoption near our house, and I was like in bed at like 4 p.m. because I was really depressed because a bad thing had happened. And she came back and she was like, there are some kittens down the road. Do you want a kitten? And I'm like, do I? So I ran down the road and got myself a kitten, and I saw Hugo, and like genuinely I melted and went, he's the one. Anyway, so that's how I got him, and we're like best buds. We really love each other. And I'm not just saying that, like he genuinely really loves me. So yeah, anyway, so that's just some context. Anyway, so he hasn't been living with me for a while because in March I moved into a flat with Alex, and like while you're moving and sort of like you've got a flat and it was too hard to have a cat, so my mum was fostering him for a little bit, and he lives with my mum's cat Freddie, who is like a one and a bit, and Hugo does not like Freddie, we discovered, because they actually like knew each other very well when Freddie was really small, but then Hugo went away for a bit and then came back, and yeah, it was a whole thing. So when Hugo and Freddie were in the same house again, Hugo realised that he absolutely despises Freddie, and I sort of knew this, but I was like, it won't be for long. But then lockdown happened, so that delayed everything. So around July, my mum said she hadn't seen him for a few days, and I was like, oh, he's probably out hunting, because it's normal in Britain to let your cats outside and go hunting and stuff. Like, whether you agree with that or not, it's sort of how it is. I don't necessarily agree with it, to be honest. But anyway, it's not really the point. God, get to the point, woman. I could talk about Hugo for hours. This is not enough time to talk about Hugo. I honestly feel a lot of time pressure right now. Maybe I should slow down the build. Anyway, so where was I? I don't remember. Oh no, this is a disaster. Quick, think. No, okay, so Hugo and Freddie not hate each other, Freddie loves him. Anyway, so my mum told me that he'd been missing for a few days, and I went home for my birthday in July, like mid-July, just when like lockdown restrictions were easing, to see, firstly to see my family because it was my birthday, to see if I could find Hugo. I did not find Hugo, and I was very, very upset. And then a few days later, a neighbour told us that there was a dead tabby cat in their garden, and that it had like an orangey nose and a red collar on, which is what Hugo had at the time, a red collar, and he's got a really orange nose. And given that we hadn't seen Hugo, I was like, it's probably him. And then as time sort of went on, I was like, yeah, it's definitely Hugo. And then my mum actually told me that she'd like identified the body and that it definitely was Hugo. I think she just wanted me to stop going on about it. I later found out that she didn't actually tell the truth about that, so it's a bit of a beef with my mum as well. Anyway, so I went home last week because apparently a different neighbour may have seen Hugo, and I was sort of due a visit anyway because I should probably like see my mum and stuff. So I thought, why the hell not, and put some leaflets around like in some doors. And I think it was like the 10th or 11th house that I put the leaflet in, and some guy comes running out after me, and he's like, hey, when did you lose this cat? And I'm like, oh, I personally haven't seen him since like February, which breaks my heart, but apparently he went missing in July and has been spotted in this last week, though I'm not entirely sure it was actually him. And he was like, yeah, no, I know this cat. He lives upstairs with the old lady. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Are you serious? And I'm like, I'm trying not to get my hopes up. I'm thinking it's just some generic tabby. And he takes me upstairs to get the cat from this old lady. And her grandson answers the door. And I show him the leaflet and I'm like, do you have my cat? And he's like, yeah, he's in the living room. That's Simba. And I'm like, first off, no, it's not Simba, sir. Sir, that's Hugo. And that's my son. Give him back. So he goes in and he just hands me my son, who I was under the impression had been dead. Sorry. Hugo just knocked my mic over. Hi, Hugo. You gonna meow for everyone? No, he looks scared. Anyway, so as you can see, I now have Hugo in my flat, which I'm not supposed to technically have. So he might be staying with some friends just until we can get a house. But going from thinking that my son was dead to him like living with me or living nearby with some friends is just incredible. So I airlifted him away from Freddie. I took him back up to my flat in Leeds. So he travelled on a train for 6 hours. Guys, he was as good as gold. He was so happy. Anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. So when he saw me, when this guy handed me my cat, like Hugo like melted in my arms. He was rubbing me. He was purring. He was so happy. And as I had him in my arms, well, as we got closer to my mum's house and you could start to like smell Freddie and know that he was like near Freddie, he started to hiss and growl, which is not like Hugo. He's not an aggressive cat at all. He's really, really, really like friendly, affectionate cat. And like then I knew for sure that he hadn't just like left home, because my first thought was like, oh, does he really hate us? Does he actually just want to leave? Am I a bad cat parent? But actually, like the problem clearly was Freddie, and he was so happy to see me. He sort of gave me this look like, where have you been, Mum? So we kind of concluded that since he's such a people cat, my mum works full time and my dad went into a care home a few months ago, or longer than that now, but my dad hasn't been at home for a while anyway. So, he has Alzheimer's. That's a whole other video I could do if you guys are interested. But yeah, so we concluded that with my mum being at work all day and him just being on his own with Freddie, basically, he was just like, do you know what? I'm off until Mum comes back. And then when I came back, he just, it was like, oh yes, I've been expecting you. And he just didn't even want to say bye. You know, he was just really happy. And I took him up north. He came out in the flat. He looked around. But he's just chilling. Like, he's being so sweet and affectionate. I've put so many pictures up on Twitter. So if you want to go and see some cute cat pictures, go on Twitter. And he's just back to his old self, and we're like snuggling. He's sleeping next to me, or in between me and my partner Alex every night, to be more specific. And I just can't believe my luck. Like, I thought he was dead, and that cat means so much to me. He helped me through so much. He was there for me after I had a suicide attempt last year. Like, when I got home, he came up to me, sat on my lap, rubbed me, loved me. Like, he's so affectionate usually, but like that day he was so affectionate, and he didn't leave my lap. He wouldn't like leave me alone. He followed me into the bathroom and stuff, and I never really stopped doing that until he went missing. I thought he was dead. I even made a video about it, which is kind of embarrassing now. But yeah, he's not, and he's here with me. And even though he's probably going to be staying with some friends really, really soon, I will get to see him as often as I like. And going from thinking he was dead to that is honestly a miracle as far as I'm concerned. I just love him so much, and I want what's best for him. And like, while I would love to keep him in my flat, he is used to going outside. So I think like him being an only cat in a household where he's loved and gets lots of attention and can go outside would be the best place for him. So I can't provide that right now, but we are looking to buy a house as soon as we possibly can to accommodate my son. I know it's a really lame that I call him my son, but honestly, he kind of acts like he is. He's such a toddler, and he's so cute, and I just love him so much, everyone, and I'm just so happy. And it is a wild story. Like, I'm genuinely thinking of writing a short story about this. I can't believe it. This type of stuff does not happen to me. That my cat was just like down the street the whole time, just avoiding Freddie and waiting for me. I can't believe it. And he's just been so good about the whole changing environment thing and coming up here and meeting Alex, and oh my god, I can't believe my luck. I was so happy. And everyone on Twitter has been so incredibly sweet and comforting and kind about the whole Hugo thing. So thank you, everybody. I really hope you like this renovation. It's a little bit different for me, but I thought, why not? Because Evergreen Harbour is too bougie. If you live in Britain and you live in like a northern city that's been like completely destroyed by, you know, the Tories. Sorry, I sound like Plumbella, but that's really not a bad thing. Then you kind of know how kind of run down and old-fashioned these houses are, and how like there is so much rubbish around them because the council just never come for the bins. But yeah, anyway, thank you for watching another one of my silly videos, and I'll see you soon. Bye!